The Remedy Show. The Remedy Show.
Hello everyone, happy new year, happy 2022. I love that you're still watching with us. Thank you so much for joining us every Saturday. The fact that you have been here with us, just in case you joined in, subscribe, follow all our pages, our social media platforms, and we're here to deliver. You're on ATV, you're on the right channel, and you're watching The Remedy. So it is so not common that in the Western region, the biggest universities, that the guild president is female. Well, that history was broken in 2021 when Iculet, I'm not going to mention the whole name, I have not yet been forgiven for the past, so I'll let her mention, was made the guild president. A commotion that has made many of us happy actually, and made us feel like, yeah, women, we actually have a chance in Uganda. So everyone, we're here with Iculet today on The Remedy. Stay tuned, we are coming back.
The Remedy Show.
Welcome back. Before that, I told you guys that we're here with the guild president of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. I am glad, by the way, I also did my my degree at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. That's what you see here. It is what you get. So Iculet, I am so glad that you're here today on The Remedy.
Same here.
Say hi to the people and say your name right.
Surely, I need to, because you've butchered my name before the show, during the show.
Not during the show.
So my name is actually Arikosi Mariam Iculet.
Iculet.
Yeah, so it's not Iculet. I know you want me to come from Britain, but no, I'm from the east, so it's Iculet.
All right, Iculet. You're welcome to The Remedy, and we're so glad that you have made last year a historical year. It's going to be remembered. Apart from Sheila, you're the second guild president of Mbarara University, second female guild president of Mbarara University of Science and Technology, and it's something that is going to be remembered forever.
True.
Yeah, like for real. So what, you as a lady, I've been at MAST for 3 years, and there was only one lady that contested in the 3 years, and the way she was treated by then, even the way she presented, I'm not going to, she could be watching or something, I'm not going to go into it so much, but you could talk to someone, even our fellow ladies, and you're saying, you know, she doesn't seem to be a potential. Okay, there is that judgment. What inspired you, like, after all that? I don't know if you knew that or what, but what inspired you as a person to contest for this post? Guild president. So as a person, even before I joined the university, I had really been involved in different servitude roles, whereby you utilize your knowledge, your experience and action to help the community. So right from the time I joined the university, I was engaged in various students' activities, in leadership, in students' action that prepared me and gave me the confidence to stand for guild president. But beyond that, my passion and commitment to service, to being part of a solution, that you know that you were part of a move that brought a difference in someone's life, was the same passion that equally drove me to serving in the guild. So I had been serving in various smaller clubs and associations, and I saw the difference I was making. So if I could do that with the small roles I had, it's just about scaling it up. And with that same confidence, vision and commitment to servitude, it's equally what took me to guild presidency. And of course, that knowledge
that one, there have been very few ladies who stand, first of all, for guild presidency, and then to move beyond getting that confidence to stand and equally winning. And this is the same for even gentlemen, because out of a university of over 6,000, there will be 3 or 4 gentlemen who stand. So even amongst the gentlemen, there needs to be a level of confidence to stand. But of course, we cannot take it for granted that there are fewer or no ladies who stand year in, year out. So as a person, I had to first of all break that cycle, that we need to have, at least at every time, a lady should stand. We may not always win, because but we have to, yes, we need to aspire and stand to these positions. So to normalize the fact that we ladies can stand, we can be competent, we can be eligible, and of course, just like you said, because there are fewer ladies who stand, who are seen in the face of such things. As we stand, we have to first break that stereotype that ladies cannot stand. So yes, I've dealt with such perceptions from both ladies and gentlemen, but these are things that we can change. They are socialized conditions that we can change. So that's what I set out to do.
What about your expectations after you winning? First of all, were you surprised that you won?
Well, by the time you win, you're not so surprised, because you have
been seeing the support.
Yes, you've been seeing the support, you've been putting in the work, you have moved to the different people, and I really moved and ensured that I reached out to nearly every single student. So by the time the voting day reaches, you have you feel like hope. Most likely I'm going to win. So as a person, I wasn't as surprised as maybe other people, especially me and the team and the camp. We knew what we had put in, we knew what we had done, we invested in what Must would want, and we offered them that service. And Must saw it and believed in it, and we were confident that we would win. So on that day, we were very happy and excited that our efforts had actually come to fruition.
That is good. Then after you being the guild, we're going to go step by step. I hope there are some students watching. Today we have your guild president. You after winning, and now you have started the thing. You're now the guild president. How are your expectations? Were they fulfilled? Did you find what you expected? The way you're doing your work, the way you're delivering to students with the pandemic.
Yes. So definitely, by virtue of the time that I served, there were so many unconventional occurrences due to the pandemic. I remember as we were having our elections at that time, we were having an industrial action where our lecturers were not teaching. So as soon as I was elected and voted into authority, we had to immediately deal with that really huge issue. And that in itself it's like you are baptized with fire and ice. So you don't have much time to, maybe be mentored, learn how the dynamics works. And because by the time I was elected, we did not have the previous leaders around. So you're basically like starting a new thing.
Immediately.
So you don't really have maybe time to be mentored, to be taught here and there. So you have to really go into it hands-on. But I believe my experience in previous leadership greatly prepared me for that role as well, because it's not utterly different from other roles I had. But now there's a huger scale I'm working on, and working with different entities, the administration, the students, and balancing both. So I cannot take it for granted that the pandemic and the different things that came when I joined leadership really were quite unconventional and quite different and unique. But as a leader, you're actually here to solve problems. Things that others cannot solve come to you. So generally, you must be ready for anything unique, anything that comes up. You have to be willing to and ready to deal with it. Yeah.
So with the pandemic, students were not around, most of them, right? Even us, when we were still at the university and there was no COVID, sometimes it would be you'd spend like the whole semester without seeing the guild president. How often do you interact with students? How is it effective? What relationship do you have with students as a guild president?
Yes, so that's a very good question. So now the beauty of the guild structure is that there are hierarchies. So there are guild presidents, the executive, the guild speakers, the GRCs and the GRC secretaries, and then we equally have the class president. So we have a hierarchy of authority that is decentralized. in a sense that we can reach out to every single student, even write to their classes. So definitely having the pandemic and university being closed and students all being at home further kind of created a barrier to communication, but now we had to utilize more creative ways to reach out to the students, using social media, WhatsApp groups, emails. And the first thing we did was to first of all run different surveys to kind of get the experience of students, because now we could not really maybe go to the class or find them in their where they reside. So we needed to utilize more online platforms to get the experiences, their issues. So through these different tools, we could really ascertain what are they going through. There were times when we were considering having online exams. We had to know what do the students think. So before I probably go and represent them, yes, I am the guild president, but I need to get the views of
From
what
the
students.
students.
Yes. So whenever there's something that has to be decided on, I would always reach out to the students or through their GRCs, through online platforms, to gauge what do majority of the students think about possibly online exams. Are they ready? Are they willing? What's going on? So that really helped us to maintain interaction. And of course, as a university, most of the time, by the time you are elected, most people have your numbers, most people have your email, so you're constantly bombarded with all these different calls and texts and emails.
How do you respond to that, like individually?
Well,
each student, if an individual student came to you and they were asking you for an issue, how do you address them?
yes. So when students reach out to you, of course, by virtue of you offering yourself to serve, you have to be open to respond to the students at all times. But of course, since we work in a team, this makes that responsibility kind of shared. So most of the time, you find that students may know the guild president more than they know sometimes their own GRCs or the different ministers. So they come to you for all issues, be it academic, accommodation, fees, all these different things. So most of the time you have to delegate and refer some of these responsibilities to the different people who are responsible for them, and then when in the event that they fail, then you come in to make the overall solution. So if there are so
like
many,
the finest thing.
yes, like if there are so many, like let's say it's an academic issue, I'll refer them to the Minister of Education. So I make them connect and present the issue to the minister, and he deals with it. Then for those that you can see that you can resolve better as the guild president, you deal with them immediately. Then of course sometimes the different people may fail to fulfill that duty for various reasons. Then you always have to come in to make the overall decision and have the last solution.
Okay, that's interesting. I hope every minister, actually every leader, is able to communicate with the people they serve that way. Then with this COVID, we cannot shy away from this. It is still coming in, and it could take years and years. The country has locked education for 2 years. What advice, as a guild president, definitely you had interest in education, in supporting schools, in supporting the university. What advice would you give to the university in case the pandemic stays? In case there is some other closure, what can they do to keep supporting education to continue? Because apart from that, some people are venturing in very many other things. They're going to start their own businesses, some are going to get married, and they won't find education that important. So what do you think can be done for universities to keep teaching? Apart from that, even the online examinations, but is it that effective?
So thankfully, the impact of the pandemic was different across all the different learning institutions. It was most impacted on the ones in lower learning institutions, secondary, primary, and most universities. After the second lockdown, the first lockdown, of course, most people took time to acclimate because it was a very novel situation. But by the second lockdown, most universities were now aware that, by the way, a pandemic can appear, schools may be closed physically, we must have alternative ways of interacting with students. So just like so many other universities in the country, took up a blended form of learning, whereby we combined both virtual and physical ways of, having education continue. So definitely there were challenges with that, but as we use these systems and see the gaps, we can try to solve them. So the solution is to always keep in mind that there are blended ways of learning, right? And even for those who have gone into other things like entrepreneurship, other businesses, a blended form of learning can equally suffice for them as well, because you can have time to multitask different
blended
things.
form of learning?
Now, blended form of learning basically means you're using both virtual platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, learning management systems like that most universities have, and then also combining physical learning, like having one-on-one lectures with the students and lecturers present. So there was a time when the faculty of medicine came back to the university to do their practical sessions, and other faculties that had practical sessions, while the other more theoretical programs are being run virtually. So this means that you can have students at campus and for more practical sessions, and then more theoretical ones, they can be done virtually. That's what a blended form of learning means. And this was easier for universities, of course, than compared to the other institutions like primary, secondary. But while this is really, really good, there's that added problem of now you need to have access to internet, access to phones, access to stable network, access to stable electricity. So you'd find that some people had different problems. Someone may have access to internet, but they don't have a smartphone. Someone may have a smartphone, but now because we had all gone home across the entire Uganda, north, east, west, some do not have access to the internet. So it needs a multi-sector collaboration whereby things like connectivity may not be able to do and bring to Soroti or to Gulu. So when, let's say, the university is trying to maybe offer support to students, kind of revamping the LMS. The LMS is a learning management system, whereby the content is the PDFs, documents, videos are in the LMS, but accessing them requires support from other systems. So we need to have a form of collaboration with the ministry, the government, the institutions, even the local areas, whereby some of these support systems are being done by the relevant organizations.
Was there something done for most students who are working from home, who are studying from home?
So what we tried to do was we worked very closely with our staff, and we got funds that we gave to some of the students who we identified through that hierarchy I told you about, whereby we worked with the class presidents who are in actual connection with the students. Like, for example, I actually cannot maybe contact every student in maybe fourth year engineering, but the class president is in touch with all his classmates. So we had meetings with the class presidents and identified honestly, like, be honest, who are the most needy students? Yes, we have these funds, but it's not like, okay, it's our time to get. Be very honest, who are the students who have not been attending Zoom classes and do not have funds? And they were really so honest, and they really shared those students. Some programs said, you know what, all our students have funds. That's not our problem. Ours is maybe internet or network. So working with them, we could identify the people who we could help. Some things we could not do by virtue of the expense that came with them. Those are some of the things that we strive to do. And in some cases, we equally gave some of the class presidents airtime, because through them they can easily reach out to those students who are not available. They can call them and find out what's going on, maybe send you the notes through email, all those different things. So with the limited resources, we had to kind of look for the highest impact and least cost to really push for these programs. And by virtue of being a public university, when the lockdown ensued, the funds come from the government, and if you recall, at that time there was a cut in various entities, especially
even the economy was down.
Yes. Now, since the university is closed, they cut the budget. So even us as a guild, we did not have access to funds. But trust me, you won't sit back and say we don't have money, so we can't help you. We had to look for very creative ways to see how we could, support the students. Even at the time when they were going back home, we had to really deal with some of the people offering transport to, can't you give the students a priority? Can't you maybe come and pick them from the university and take them home? So that's how we really work, through collaboration, making connections that can come back and and help the students.
Okay, it's a very interesting talk. If you're still watching, please keep tuned in. We're going in a very short break. We're still with Iculet.
You're getting better.
Yeah, I'm actually better.
Yeah.
The Must Guild President. Please stay tuned. You're on The Remedy.
The Remedy Show.
Thank you. Welcome back. You're still watching The Remedy. You're watching AETV, empowering you. Of course, empowering you. Duh. We're with Iculet. Again, I want to remind you, you're on AETV with Iculet, the Guild President of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. And we're sharing different things. You're going to be informed about her as a person. If you have watched the session before this one, what inspired her to become the Guild President, what has been done to help very many students in Must, and what other Guild Presidents should learn from Iculet, and opening of schools, and some of her personal, so Iculet, Iculet. Welcome once again. And before we left, we're still talking about what you, the Guild Must, has done for students out there in this pandemic. And I'm also I'm also interested in you being a female guild president. Is there something like should I call it a constitution, something that was led for women in your journey of leadership? Before you entered, you're like, I'm going to do this for women, for female students in Must before I leave.
Yes. Now the biggest thing is to basically empower them to believe in themselves, because you realize that I've realized that very many women or girls fail to really pursue their different aspirations because of a lack of belief in themselves. And my vision, especially for the women, was to make them believe that if you can believe in anything in this world, believe in yourself. And once you believe in yourself, then you can literally do anything. And of course you realize that growth is uncomfortable sometimes because you're moving from one state to another, and that period of transition can have its own anxiety, its own challenges, but nothing is easy, especially the things that bring the most fulfillment. So during the course of my journey through the elections, even during the course of the actual leadership, the majority of questions are still, how did you do it? How could you do all these things, But as just by being yourself and showing, besides just telling, showing that you can actually break the odds and achieve what you would like to be is the best gift that we could actually give the ladies, because in their different aspirations and dreams and desires, they will be really eager and willing to fight for their dreams.
Are there some clubs in Must that are created to encourage ladies? Actually, when I was at Must in 2018, we had a group called GIA. I'm gorgeous, intelligent and ambitious. I don't know where it disappeared from, but it was it just disappeared like that. But it was great. I was new. I was a fresher, but it had these ladies that had great minds. You go to talk to someone, and by the time you leave, you're fresh. Like you feel, my God, I'm going to kill this world. Are there those groups that are there? Maybe formed by the guild, maybe formed by other women, strong women in campus.
Yes. So in the guild we have a ministry called Ministry of Gender and Guidance, and through this ministry there have been various activities that have been channeled towards empowering and raising the confidence and skills of different women, but also the gentlemen, because as a guild we work with all people irrespective of their gender. So in this ministry there have been various activities that have been aimed at empowering the girls, the women, and also the boys, and really just showing that we can actually work concurrently, we can work collaboratively to really achieve what we set out to do. So that ministry directly deals with that. However, there are also other associations and clubs, and as a guild we work closely with all associations because they are registered under the guild, that work in line with sexuality. Now, sexuality, for many who don't know, is not just sex. It's actually your identity, your self-expression, belief in yourself, how you relate with others, your relationships, and even just emotional intelligence. And these include a club like Youngster. Youngster is an association that really deals with empowering students, especially the women, to be responsible and literally take the reins of their life by the hands and
How do they get to students? Like that group, Youngster, the Ministry of Gender.
Yes.
How do they get to students? How do they make them informed? Because there are some students who might be out there and they don't know that these clubs exist.
Yes.
And they need them.
True. So usually you find that these clubs send out calls for various activities, people to register. So if there's any activity, like now there's going to be a training for Youngster, they send a call to the students' body and people register and they call them for different trainings, different activities, and that's how they get to interact with the students. So using that hierarchy of leadership, using the class presidents, using the GRCs, so all these opportunities are sent out to the students' body through their unique leaders, and even through, for example, we have a general students' email which every student has, and they can all get the information in one locality.
Okay, that is interesting. And now that MAST is going to open soon.
MAST is open already.
It's open already. Okay. I talked to some. No, I mean like students are coming back.
Yes, first years are already coming.
Okay, so there is a student I was talking to recently, and she told me how they did one semester, 2 semesters in one semester. Exams for mid semester and end of semester in 2 weeks. 1 week exams, next week exams, different sets. And it was too much pressure on her, to the extent that she did exams, and the first set of exams she really read, and she got tired. So by the time she was doing the next set, she's like, let me do. They will mark, like they are I feel like, from what I asked, I'm not talking for everyone, some students might come with the bias of, I just want to do papers and pass and go. Like they are biased against the quick system. From what I've heard from other students, and I've also talked to before coming I did some research. I talked to some lecturer who told me when he was marking, the things were not as good as they used to be.
True.
So what are you planning to do for these students who are coming? Their minds might not be ready. Some of them are already doing individual, like things that are totally not in line with education. So their heads are not there. But they are coming back to school because they have to. They don't want to waste their parents' money, or they want papers and finish. What are we going to do as the guild to install something to encourage students to learn for the purpose of learning?
Yes. So just to backtrack, the quick set of exams are not the norm. But what happened was we began the first semester of the academic year 2021, and the lockdown happened, but we had finished the content of that first semester, and we had even begun the exams for that semester. So we were in the middle of examinations, final semester examinations for semester 1, and the lockdown happened. Now, having lived through the first lockdown, where we lost over 10 months just in a lockdown, we could not sit back and see the same thing happening as though we didn't have any experience. So what was decided was that we would continue with the content for semester 2 of the same academic year, and then when we report back, we will finish the missing papers that we had not done for semester 1, and then do the exam for semester 2. So right from the beginning of that decision, the students were made aware of this decision.
Yes,
they were surveys that we did to inform them, and we really informed them of what was happening. And of course, by virtue of being a university student, we need to develop skills of flexibility, acclimation, and realizing that actually we had the fair side of the COVID-19, because we could actually continue and study. So when we came into semester 2, we did the content for semester 2 virtually. So when we reported, we had to finish the missing papers of the papers we didn't do in semester 1 and then carry on with semester 2. So all throughout that virtual program, we were really talking to the students, and they were aware of this program, and even the lecturers were talking to the students, all the different
and
teaching them. And of course, we cannot really ignore the fact that even the lecturers had their own challenges, as we all did. Yes. So all the things that I had told you earlier of trying to give them airtime, phones, we're trying to really support them. But of course, these issues are really complicated and intricate, so you cannot solve every single problem, but you can give your 2 cents. You can really give the help that you can give. So that is why there were 2 sets of exams done within the same period of time. But even prior to reporting, there was some time given after teaching for students to prepare. So this program was made known to them. Yes.
No, it is appreciated actually. Even this person who told me was not complaining. The problem is that the mind, we're talking about mental.
Yes, yeah, but now you realize that this is not a routine thing. It was a one-time thing, and now when we go into, because now we finished that academic year, so we need to come back to normal, whereby it's not obviously encouraged to have 2 sets of exams. I remember us at campus, it's a semester program whereby semester 1 has completely different content to semester 2. So that was really overwhelming. But it's going to be a one-time thing. Ideally, that should not be the case. You must do semester 1, finish that content. Not that you should forget it, but that stage is done, and then you can focus on semester 2. So I cannot really ignore or diminish the effect that this had on various students learning at home. You've not been interacting with your fellow students. You come back, you have 2 weeks, and you're meant to go into exams. So it was a very challenging time, and which is why we really had to create like support groups amongst classes. Like, let's support each other, because us in the class or you in your class, you can know who missed a lecture. If they give group work, can you balance out maybe those who didn't attend and those who have been attending, to try and support each other. So and that is how at campus, if you remember, that's how you survived, creating those links that could support you when you're low, when maybe you've missed something out. They would always be there.
I think students should know who they are supposed to talk to at a certain time, because some students are really ignorant about who they are supposed to communicate to in some issues. You go to class, you study, get out, go to your hostel, come back, go and study, go back. Like there's some students who are not involved in activities. They're not aware, and some presidents, since I've been a student at Mesa also, they also don't communicate
all things that are told to them.
Yes. So I feel like the guild should be you should take an extra mile to investigate, has the communication actually reached the students.
Which is why surveys are really good, because they are filled in. We don't only depend on the comments from the leaders themselves. The surveys are actually filled in by the students. So if you get a sample that is representative, you can get that general knowledge level of all the different students. And even during that time, we definitely had different psychosocial support systems. But like I told you, you had access to all these different leaders. So this, honestly, as the leaders all through that time, you're getting all the calls from all the students. Most will not call the lecturer or the dean, or they'll first call you. So you're getting all these issues. Someone comes and is like, I have this issue, then you can refer them to the counselor, or at times you have to counsel them yourself at that moment. So we always
have to be in the right mind to be able to talk to different students.
So you always have to have, in a way, your own problems or your own issues become peripheral. You're always switched on and ready to help and serve. And this is what I really saw with not only myself, but all the different leaders. So you find that someone is solving issues in this faculty, that faculty, some who are home, and you're really doing a cross faculty solution initiative.
That is a very interesting, and I think that is the guild we have. Everyone must be satisfied with what the guild they put in place. So we are grateful. As an old student, I'm grateful. Oh my God. Okay, so I don't want to bore people. Usually the remedy, we are talking, we're having fun. I hope everyone is enjoying the session. So we're going to go in a short break again, and we are back. Thank you.
The Remedy Show.
Are you ready? sunshine omuchiga. Bueno, if you have any event, it can be a music show, it can be a party, big or small, and you want it live, you can even catch me and my band on H.E TV. That is on YouTube, Zoom, or Facebook.
H.E TV, empowering you.
The Remedy Show.
Thank you so much. If you have been watching, if you have not been watching, please endeavor to go back. You don't want to miss information. If you're a student and you're going back to school, Happy New Year and success to everyone. And this is the right session for you. You're here, you're still in the Remedy on H.E TV, empowering you. We're talking with Iculet, the Guild President, Mariam University of Science and Technology. Success is wonderful when I pronounce your name right. So, it is a new year, Iculet. Do you think we're not going political anymore? Do you think New Year's resolution is an important thing for a human being?
Yes. I definitely believe that we need to set goals. If you don't set goals, there will be no guiding kind of principle that will be pushing you to wake up and do different things. So yes, New Year's resolutions are really good because they put you in a mindset that is preparing for what you need to do. However, I believe that we shouldn't only make the resolutions. We should follow them up with systems and practices that are going to bring those goals into a reality. For example, let's say you want to become the guild president. You won't just say 2022 I want to become the guild president. Now you're going to, after putting that goal, now that's the guiding principle, you're going to now put systems that will help you become the guild president. So you're going to maybe look for the requirements. First of course, you have to begin from your academics. Are you okay academically? Otherwise, you won't even be nominated. So you look for the different systems that help you to make those goals a reality.
Yeah. So you already set New Year's resolutions each year?
Yes, I always do.
And
but they are always, of course, they are not usually isolated from what I had already been planning. But each new year, it kind of just cements and strengthens the actual point of I want to achieve this. But usually the goals come from things that you've already been having in your mind in the previous year, things that maybe have failed, have succeeded, things you want to scale up or scale down. So the resolutions should not be isolated, just picked from the sky. They should kind of
be
fit into
from what you can do.
Into what you have already been doing, what you want to achieve. It could even be, you may have a 10-year goal, but it's broken down into yearly goals. So that vision in 10 years should be unpacked into what can I do in 3 months, in 1 year, that can make me reach that goal in 10 years.
Yeah, that is interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine before the show, and I asked her the same question. She was like, I'm giving 2022 to God. Let him do whatever he wants to do, because last year I set resolutions and forgot about them. Sometimes you set resolutions and then life moves you. Well, I think maybe when you have not allowed yourself to follow up. I
really don't believe that life can, personally, I don't believe that life can just move you. Now that mindset kind of, it removes the accountability from yourself, and then you blame life generally. Of course, there are things that we cannot control, but we cannot solely attach the blame on life. It means that as a person, you cannot be accountable for something that you don't believe you're responsible for. And definitely, when we set goals, they should not just be in your mind. Ideally, you should write them down, have a vision board, frame them somewhere, remind yourself each and every day. Personally, I do a lot of bullet journaling, whereby you're constantly documenting and writing down your goals. You're constantly evaluating yourself. Most people wait for, now it's January, it's 6th January, you've set a goal, you think you have 12 months, forgetting that each and every day is supposed to do something about those goals. There's a saying that says that the life I want to live is dependent on what I do daily. So if you want to be successful, and daily maybe you procrastinate a lot, you don't fulfill just the daily tasks, you don't even, let's say, take care of yourself, you can't play your bed in the morning. So daily you're not you're not coming through for yourself on a daily basis. So it means that that's the habit you're going to create, the system that you're going to create.
Yeah.
So the goals will be highly unachievable. So we should never forget our goals. And how do we not forget them? Writing them down, putting a vision board, constantly going back to see these different things. Or you can even tell people who you trust, people like your kind of accountability partners, that guys, this is my goal, like your really close friends, and they can constantly remind you, like, hey, you said you wanted to do this, but I say you're not doing anything. So putting these systems that kind of put you in check, and then knowing that maybe every week I'm going to do a review, every week I'm going to have a small goal. So there's the grand goal of the new year, but then there is a monthly goal, there is a weekly goal. Maybe this week I want to finish all my assignments. In a month I want to maybe start gymming. So but the goal is I want to be fit, but you start doing things. I want to eat better, I want to start working out, I want to no longer taking a border, I want to walk. Those are the small systems that are going to help you achieve the bigger goal. So people need to really break down their goals, make them realistic, specific, measurable, and achievable. Yeah, so yes, I believe in New Year's resolutions, but there should be those accompanying systems and practices that make it a reality. And then you must have a sense of accountability and responsibility for your own life.
And set goals you can achieve. I believe that everyone can achieve something, but please, like, weigh yourself and don't be too hard on yourself. 2022, you guys, let us go in 2022 with good vibes. Don't be hard on yourself. Achieve and laugh and smile. Like, achieve and joy. Yeah, don't be hard on yourself. Don't start having a goal of buying a car when you're not earning 100 per month, even not 100. So yeah, thank you. And another thing, there is a tendency, we've talked about this on the remedy before, of someone told me that some men fear women who are independent. Henry, hi. Yeah, that fear women who are independent, women who have their own goal. Apart from the political, you being a guild president at must and everything, what else are you going to be doing after you finishing your term? Are you planning to stay in politics? Are you planning to start your own other things?
Yes. So what people don't realize is that actually we are all in politics. Politics is basically how you deal with different relationships, dynamics, how you balance your life, your health, your economy, all those different things. So we are all in politics in the grand scale of things. So we cannot avoid getting into politics because it affects our life, even as students. So even after campus, I have recently finished my final exams and I was pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Gender and Applied Women Health. So I am really committed to working in that sphere of empowering women in their health and also trying to balance the issues that both men and women face to achieve their highest potential. So I am going to be doing a lot of work in that area, continuing with the empowerment and supporting of young people, especially women, to fearlessly go and achieve their dreams.
Okay, that's interesting. I hope everyone who is watching out there, you have learned one or two. Thank you so much for watching The Remedy. I love you so much. You guys, I tell you, every time you tune in to AE TV, you are watching the right channel. Like, don't change, because better programs are coming in, entertainment, I mean everything, health, The Remedy. So thank you so much, Iculet, for coming. I appreciate you have educated students there, even leaders and women who probably are shielding themselves in some cocoon they don't understand. They should unshield yourselves, your wings high, and let yourself fly. So thank you so much for watching The Remedy. Last words for the viewers.
Thank you so much for watching. I would just like to assure all of us that while growth can be uncomfortable, it's extremely fulfilling, and we should really get out of things that are normal for us and move through that period of transition and possibly enjoy the fulfillment and satisfaction of achieving our dreams. So this year, let's fearlessly, boldly, and courageously push for all our different aspirations, and then we can be successful as a community.
All right, thank you. Till next Saturday, by the way, don't forget to tune in. Yeah. Still on The Remedy with your girl Jenny every Saturday. Bye.
The Remedy Show.